Welcome, everyone, to the most talked podcast you've ever heard. I'm just kidding. That's not even close to being true, but it is sports bets, but mostly chaos. If you don't already know, well, I'm Craig.
Now you know.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jason.
All right.
No Benny.
And if you're familiar with the show, you'll notice there's one man down. No Benny this week.
No soup.
He is out in Sin City.
He's on assignment.
He's on assignment.
Yep. He's videotaping the Golden Knights practice.
There you go.
No, you're right. But yeah, so no Benny this week. But the show will go on without him. But he will be back next week. All right, boys, we got some stuff to get to. We'll just jump right into things. NBA. Is there any team hotter in basketball than the Golden State Warriors right now, boys?
Nope.
Negative.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Yeah, no, they are on fire, 10-1. They can hang with any team right now. I think the West is kind of like almost in shambles. Like you don't know what you're going to get every game, but between the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Clippers, you don't know what you're going to get. I feel like at worst you're going to get an entertaining game from the Warriors, whether they win or lose. They're going to be in it. They could be 11-0 if they didn't shit the bed the one game against Memphis. Like they're playing really well. Like we talked about before, really, really deep, and just everybody's contributing. And they got a tough game tomorrow on deck with the Bulls. That should be an entertaining game, although Vucevic is out in COVID protocol, so that's going to kind of put a damper on it a little bit, but should be a track meet. Maybe a good small ball game for sure.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you're right. And then and then they have a 4-game roadie coming up that could be, they go to Charlotte, they go to Brooklyn, up and coming Cleveland, I guess, and Detroit. So, the talk is that the Warriors haven't really played anybody, but you can make the argument, but the teams that they have played, they're blowing them out. So what do you want? Like, they're doing style points now. Gary Payton Jr.'s dunking seems like on everybody's head every game.
Ouch, baby.
Yeah, ouch is right. Curry's doing his thing. He's gravity. Everybody's just going to him. Looney had a career high 17 rebounds last night. Just every night, it seems like somebody else is stepping up to make this team what it is. And it's a very exciting game. So taking me back to 2014, 2015. Just the third quarter blitz seems to be back. They keep the teams close at halftime, and then they come out in the third quarter and they blitz in the third quarter and they get a lead.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot to be excited about. Went to my first game on Sunday with my son Nathan. Loved it. The place is a palace. And all being said, it wasn't all that expensive. I mean, they gave you like a $10 souvenir refillable cup for sodas. So you go back and get I got it 4 times for $10. Not too bad at all. Food was good. A lot of different bars there. So yeah, if we can definitely get the podcast, doing a live stream there from one time, that'd be great. Craig, you should look into that. See what's going on. But yeah, Warriors on a roll. Hope to keep it going tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting matchup tomorrow with the Bulls. They don't have Patrick Williams, their best defender, for the rest of the season, and like you said, Vucevic is out with COVID protocol, so they're facing off against a really small team, and the Warriors won't have Draymond most likely tomorrow, so it's gonna be a lot of small ball from a very fast-paced game. I have to imagine the Warriors come out with W. The Cavaliers and when they go to Cleveland, keep an eye on Wiggins, because his 2 teams that he absolutely hates and he balls out against: Minnesota, who traded him to the Warriors, and the Cavaliers, who drafted him and traded him for Kevin Love. Yeah. He has his 2 highest scoring outputs by game or against those 2 teams. So keep an eye out. Plus, the Cavs lost Sexton, so one of their best players on the team is out for the rest, very indefinitely with a torn meniscus, I think it was. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, so Warriors, going up to Brooklyn, that should be very interesting. Hopefully they have Draymond so he can help somewhat defend KD, but you have to imagine KD and Curry are going to be going bucket for bucket that game.
Yep.
But yeah, the Warriors are looking good. Like you said, Gary Payton. I want to see that guy in the dunk contest. He's got hops for a small dude. Yeah, Looney had a huge game yesterday. It was kind of expected with how soft Karl Anthony Towns is on the defensive end. He's everyone talks about it. He's very soft. Remember Jimmy Butler going off on him. Yeah, if you have a big 7-foot player who is going to play a little bit of deep, little physicality against Towns, good luck. He's all offense. He's no defense or any of that stuff. So yeah, Looney had his best game probably of his career, and it was really good to see. So Warriors, they're rolling. We'll see what they can finish off the homestand with another dub, and they go on the road, and we'll see where they are next week.
It's safe to say the Warriors won the D'Angelo Russell, Andrew Wiggins, Kuminga trade. Because I think
Yeah,
so.
and the Moses Moody too. Yeah.
So
That's the craziest part is they're not getting anything out of Kuminga or Moody, and they don't need to, and they're still doing what they're doing with no Clay and James Wiseman. So yeah.
And it sounds like Clay that they might be targeting like December 20th or December 23rd return for him if everything goes according to plan. So
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, it's sounding like the game before the Christmas game is they haven't really announced it as a target date, but it's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
and then also James Wiseman bearing a setback should be back by the end of November. So that'll be good to see.
Yeah, speaking of soft, I hope like you said with Karl Anthony Towns, I hope Wiseman doesn't. I know he's finesse with his shot, but you kind of need him to be aggressive in the middle too. Like,
yeah, I mean
you're gonna get your shit rejected. Like,
yeah.
So.
Well, the kid's still young,
yeah.
And hopefully in the off season he bulked up a little bit. Go use those straight trainers. Like that's the reason why each team has them.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the only other real news over the week that really gained mainstream was the play in the Heat Nuggets game. I don't know if you saw, Craig. I figure you saw, Jason, but
what do you think?
I don't know. You don't watch basketball. I
That's
don't
why
know. That's
why it's a clown
really
question,
not.
bro.
Yeah. So the Suns, not the Suns, the Nuggets were basically going to win the game, and Nikola Jokic, last year's MVP, is just taking the ball down the court, and Markieff Morris of the Heat basically like shoulder tackles him, and then turns his back to him, and Jokic like full speed shoulder checks Markieff in the back, and Markieff goes down, and he like literally stays down, and they have to bring a cart out onto the basketball court to help him get up. And I'm just like, dude,
Wow.
that was so pathetic. And then the NBA went back, and then the NBA went and suspended Jokic a game while only fining Morris. A slap on the wrist. I'm just like, dude, you literally like shoulder checked the guy
in his ribs, in his
ribs, and then you turned your back to the guy. Like, did you not expect a retaliation? Like,
Where are we at?
That was just a very bush league by the NBA to suspend one guy and find the other when it's 2 wrongs don't make a right. So
yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with the Jokic brothers either, man. I think they're connected to Teddy KGP for sure, and
yeah. Those Morris brothers try to play hard, but
that's what she said.
Come on, man. What do you want from me? It's not my segment. I got all the time in the world to press buttons over here.
We know.
All right, well, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all we got.
Oh, that's all I got. All right, cool. We can rotate this thing around. Let's switch over to the NFL, and oh God, what a train wreck week number 9 was. Especially if you had I don't know, just money line parlay of teams that would win. I don't know anybody that did that in particular, but wait a minute.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't think so, Tim.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, rough one. A lot of humongous just straight up upsets. I mean, a lot of the top teams all they just all lost. That's the only way I can really put it for you. Man,
you had
But
you had tight end week, you had backup quarterback week, and you had week of the loss of the top teams losing. It's just
it was
that's
week of
way
the
NFL
dogs.
goes. Yep,
Week of the dogs. But anyways, you know what? I think I'm gonna start things off with Jay. So Jason, the Niners. Oh boy. Colt McCoy, I guess no calamari, no problem for the Cardinals. James Conner ran all over the place, and I'll leave everything else up to you. Why don't you just go over just exactly what went wrong? What went wrong?
What?
For the Niners?
Let me take some alcohol first so I can.
Smart.
You might need a couple more shots.
You might need something. Might need something stronger than that.
Yeah.
Called it last week. Colt McCoy. You have the Arizona Cardinals are without their starting QB, without their starting running back, without their starting wide receiver. I'm like, yeah, this is a must-win game, and they come out and they shit the bed. Colt McCoy runs, throws it all over them. James Conner's running it all over them. Their defense has no structure. You got Josh Norman doing some dumbass penalties and getting in a fight with his own teammates. And when you look at all that combined, I think it starts to look at the head coach. Like, are you losing the locker room a little bit? Like, just a combination of everything. I used to be I'm a Kyle Shanahan, supporter and all that, but your seat's got to be a little warm now, dude. You're 32-40 as a head coach. You've had one good season where you went to the Super Bowl. Your plays are kind of vanilla now. I mean, yeah, you can't blame Kyle Shanahan for the turnovers with Ayuk and Kittle fumbling the football, no. But again, that's coaching. Hold on to the damn ball. A very winnable game against Arizona, and they basically shit the bed. It was Sunday afternoon. Colt McCoy threw a 50-yard bomb. I looked at Nathan. I was like, you know what? It's time to go to the Warrior game because this is ridiculous. And we listened to it on the way over. It didn't sound like it was any better. Can't blame Jimmy Gio. Could he be more accurate? Yes, he's leaving his receivers out to dry on his throws. And
I'll say he's an idiot.
John, I've been calling for it for like 2 or 3 weeks now. I think it's time to play Trey Lance. You're not going to win the championship. You're not going to the Super Bowl. You may backdoor your way into a playoff spot, and that's kind of fading day by day.
Not even close.
Time to play Trey Lance and get him some reps for next year, or else next year's going to be a lost year. And if next year's a lost year, Kyle Shanahan's getting fired in 2023 or the offseason 2022.
Who's the GM?
John Lynch.
They're both
John Lynch. Did you hear the rumors that John Lynch came out and said that he wanted Trey Lance, but that Kyle Shanahan picked he wanted Mac Jones, but Kyle Shanahan picked Trey Lance over. I'm like, really? You're gonna come out and say that now? Like you're really gonna come out and say that now? Hindsight's 2020. Like that sounds like a GM trying to save his job.
Run that guy.
They've come out from the jump saying they were both in on Trey Lance. I don't believe it now, because now you're just trying to not to be the scapegoat. And his seat is just as hot as Kyle Shanahan's. You just released Jalen Hurts, a 2019 draft pick that you didn't even see the football field.
It always freezes at the worst possible time.
His audio's working though.
My audio is working. We good?
Yeah. Now you're good to go. Now
your audio was fine. It's just your face got frozen.
Jalen Hurts, you released him, a 2019 third-round pick. Never saw a regular season snap for the Niners. They're again being a dead horse, but Aaron Banks hasn't seen the field. You have 2 corners that haven't seen the field that you drafted in the second, third rounds. What are we doing? You need to come up with a plan. It's kind of like a boxing match. Everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth. Now, once you get hit in the mouth, how do you adjust? And I don't know if they know how to adjust. You're not a winning team. It's time to build on next year. And guess what? Oh, even if you shit the bed this year like you're going to, you don't have a first-round draft pick next year. You don't have a first-round draft pick the year after that. So you trade all those assets. Let's see what you have with Trey Lance.
Yeah, I mean, just go ahead and start Trey Lance and chuck it up to injuries. You can say, we didn't have Raheem Morse, we didn't have Mostert all year, we didn't have Kittle, we didn't have Samuel. Like Kittle and Samuel have been dealing with injuries. Like there's so many like scapegoats you can use. but you got to be playing Trey Lance like at this point of the season. It's
getting old. You got Justin Fields out there with Chicago. Looks like he's improving week to week.
Yeah.
Why not get him the live action reps? The defense, I mean, Fred Warner signed his contract and he's been kind of average. You got Nick Bosa. You don't have the studs. You don't have the leadership. You don't have the Buckners, the Staleys, and the Shermans anymore. Those loud guys, not necessarily loud guys, but those leadership guys that you're missing. And nobody's stepping up.
Yeah.
You got a game this week on Monday against the Rams. You're gonna. I mean, what's the spread? Greg, you said the spread's kind of what?
It's only on the pick'em, it's a 3.5, but I think it might be like possibly 4, depending where we're looking at it right now.
Why does that seem so low?
It's because home teams get 3 points.
Because I realistically, I probably if without seeing the spread, I probably would have guessed the Rams were like a touchdown favorite.
Right. The Niners have won Levi's in like 5 years. So, I mean,
easy. That's a little drastic. I don't know.
Okay, maybe 3.
We suck again.
You know, it's tough sledding, and hopefully they show up this Monday on prime time. And you know, you got Odell Beckham coming into town now. Apparently, he's going to play. So the Rams are loaded. The Arizona Cardinals are loaded. Well, not as loaded, I guess. Rams are going for it.
Oh yeah,
and they're all in.
Yeah, I would say just with all that, I think that's another reason why. I mean, yeah, like you said, you can backdoor in a playoff spot. I mean, but like, what good is that going to do?
What are you gonna do?
I mean, what do you really think you're gonna go on the road in this that 1-run playoff and pull off a victory against a team like the Rams or the Bucks or the Cowboys? Like, I just don't. I don't see it. I don't know. I guess I'm one of those people too that sometimes like I say with the A's like when they come down the season like maybe if they'll make the playoffs. They'll get into a round, but it's like, or like go to the wild card game. It's almost like, why do we need to bother to see them go out there and get the crap kicked out of them in a wild card game? Like, I'd rather just not make it. So I don't know. I know that's different people have different views. They might want to see them get there and go, but I don't know. That's the way I see it with that. So
different strokes for different folks. And it's, just,
yeah, you're right.
Again, so here's the problem too, is you don't want to be in no man's land. Like you either want to be in contention or you want to be,
You don't want to be the Steelers.
Yeah, you don't want to be in no man's land because now you're in no man's land, and guess what? You don't have any first round picks for the next 2 years, so we're in trouble.
What about the Rams?
Yeah,
when's the next draft pick? Like the 7th round of 2026?
Yeah, well, that's the way the GM does it. They don't care about. They don't do drafts. They go and sign. They go find those hidden treasures. They go sign those veteran talents.
Yeah. And
it's made them work. I mean, they got a Super Bowl 1 year with it, and now that's where they are. Like I think a reporter asked the GM of the Rams about it, and he legit responded, "Fuck draft picks, fuck those draft picks," or something like that.
It's a win now league. I mean, and even draft picks, you're not going to know. You don't know. Craig doesn't know. You don't know. I don't know if they're going to be a stud.
I don't even know which way is up.
What happened? What happened with the defensive player Kinlaw? What happened to him?
He had a knee issue. Even before he got drafted, he had a knee issue, and so they went back in and they gave him some ACL surgery or some cleanup. So he's out for the year.
It just sucks because like you guys got rid of Buckner. You guys got rid of Buckner because you couldn't afford him, and you drafted Kinlaw to replace him, and Kinlaw hasn't been healthy. It's like. It was a really good draft pick to replace Buckner, but the guy he's not coming out.
Right. And the thing is with the cap, it's like, I think yes, there's a cap for sure, but the Rams are massaging it around to make it work with everything. So I'm sure the Niners could have made it work with Buckner, but I don't know how the Rams keep on doing it. Nobody knows. And I don't know. They're going for it. You got to give them props. So that's all I got on the Niners, really. Hope for the best on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we'll be watching. We'll be playing softball, so whatever.
True that.
All
right. Well,
it rained out.
Well, we're gonna mention. No, it's supposed to be no rain in the forecast, so we should be clear.
Right now.
Hey, you need to check yourself before you get in trouble.
I'll get you, and I'll look like a bloody accident.
Next time you want to bullshit someone, bullshit yourself.
Okay. All right. Well, before we get to you, John, I actually take a look at some of the teams. I guess kind of covering, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Let's take a look at some of these games. We'll start with the Bills. Biggest what would we even argue they weren't the biggest upset loss of the entire week, losing to Jacksonville.
Mhm.
Probably the entire season. There was no touchdowns scored in the entire game.
What was the score of that game?
9-6.
9-6.
9-6.
Or 6-9.
Heyo.
Uh,
By the way, there's not a single touchdown scored in the game tonight.
Bomarski. Oh.
Anyways, yeah. So, this is one of those. I don't know. It was nuts to see it. There was the whole storyline that came after was the whole Josh Allen against Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, Josh Allen had a hell of a better game. Tough. The game to me, from what I'm seeing, just kind of watching the red zone, it looked the first half looked very similar to the Miami game, where the Buffalo offense was just kind of absent, and it was kind of like, okay, when are they going to wake up? And the second half started, and then the offense did wake up in the Miami game, and they ended up winning that game, and of course they ended up covering the spread that they were laying in that game. But this one, it just didn't happen. The Bills just couldn't get the offense going. I have to feel like they're missing Dawson Knox a hell of a lot. I don't know off the top of my head exactly what they're getting out of their tight ends right now without him, but the offense is clearly just not together right now. And it's tough. I guess in a sense, I think all kind of good teams need to have that one stinker game, because you need to kind of provide that adversity. And I guess I wouldn't really say the Tennessee game is that game, because look at the Titans now. I mean, they have been dominant as soon as they lost to the Jets. Can you believe that? It's all started when they lost to the Jets, and the Titans have just ran the table. They've been underdogs in almost all the games except for one. But it was
Fuck the Jets.
so it's just a tough one for sure. I think that's the one thing is that offense. I mean, I they got to figure something out. I do like Josh Allen's comment that, at the end of the game, he straight up said they played like shit, and it starts with him. So I think this is hopefully good adversity. They got a game at the Jets this weekend. I don't know. I'm not sure they're going to come out and blow the water out, but part of me hopes that they're going to show up and remind everyone exactly who this team is, because this is a lot of team. They came into the season as a Super Bowl contender, and I think people might be starting to get the doubts on them that maybe they're not that. So we'll see. But I think they get a win for sure this weekend. If they lose this game to the Jets, I think I think there's a lot of doubt that starts kicking in. So I'm thinking the bounce back week's going to happen. So it's tough to lose the Jags, but I mean, the one bright side is you get up 9 points, you didn't give any touchdowns. So the defense side of the ball, it's not struggling. So it's not like, it's the offense and the defense and everything isn't looking good. It's just the offense right now, I think, is the concern, but time to get it right.
Quick question. Jason, are you watching the Thursday night game?
Yeah.
Was that a catch or not a catch? Because everyone on Twitter and Discord is saying that was not a catch, because Watkins caught the ball and then he fumbled it, and they were trending for a touchdown, and people were saying that it was definitely not a catch.
Let me see it again. Initially, I thought it was a catch. But let me see it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't. I'm not watching, so I wasn't sure. I'll go back, Craig.
All right, that pretty much does it for the Bills there. I'm gonna switch over to the Raiders, and my God, I can't put my finger on this team. I really thought a couple weeks ago, with everything going on with Gruden, I really thought that the Raiders were going to crumble in that first game back, and they gave me the big middle finger. They won that next game, and they won every game. I think they were 2-0 since the Green Fire going to this game. They went into New York, and there was it's a trap game. They're going across country. I'm like, well, yeah, but the Raiders coming off the bye week, everything like that. But you have to think that all the off the field issues is probably playing a part, and it's just it's unfortunate, really, all around. But I think Derek Carr struggled a little bit in that game. The pick six was definitely hurt. And I don't know. It's like I want to come out here and say this is wrong, but I just so frustrated with this team that I can never seem to figure out what the dealio is. So I don't know. Here we are. They now play against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, and I don't know. I feel like every week we keep thinking like, oh, this is going to be the Chiefs game. This is going to be the game where they come out and show out. Well, the Chiefs didn't even do it against Green Bay. They went up against an Aaron Rodgers-less Packers. They still don't look that good. So if anything, the Raiders really need to win this game because that keeps the Chiefs in the rearview mirror. I think that's what the Raiders don't need. They don't need the Chiefs jumping over ahead of them, especially knowing you got a game at Arrowhead later this season against them too. So it's a huge game. I think they really need to bounce back. They did signing Deshaun Jackson, which I think definitely helps fill a void in the wide receiver area of the team. So how helpful will he be? I don't know. I feel like the Raiders have brought big name receivers here and they've really not done well. So we will see. It seems like Deshaun Jackson's, excited to be with the Raiders though. So we will see. I think it's me.
He's past his prime, but
for sure. Absolutely.
He can still be a weapon downfield for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and so I'm interested to see how that game is going to play out. I don't know. I feel like every week I'm still thinking like, oh, we might still get that big Chiefs game, something like that game where the Chiefs, they kind of remind everyone just exactly, who they are
who we thought they were.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. So, I'm just going to throw out there 0-8 against the spread with the Raiders this season. So will it change this week? Guess you'll find out next. So, shift things over to the Minnesota Vikings and, battle purples with the Ravens, and they hung in there. And I think that's the one thing about them is that they're just like the team that they're good enough to hang in there with everybody, just about, because even John and I talked about this earlier this week. I mean, the biggest loss they've had this year was by 7 points, and it was that ugly game in Minnesota against the Browns. Everything has been really close. So they're just like that team that they're good enough to stay in it, but they're just not good enough to pull away and win. So, I firmly believe that a lot of it has to do with the head coach situation. I just don't think they have, Zimmer's, obviously known as this great defensive minded coach, but I just don't think he is the guy that needs to be leading the squad now too. So I don't know. I think there needs to be a change there. I don't know. I don't know. That's all I could say. I just feel like that's a void when you're this close, either that or you. I don't know. I just can't imagine when you're this close in this many games and you're not able to come through. I just kind of feel like there's some void going on there, and so I don't know. I believe it's the staff. I could be wrong. It does seem like a lot of just from what I read like online with like Vikings Twitter and anything on there. I really do think that a lot of people want Zimmer gone. So will it happen mid-season? I don't see it. I think because the thing is they're still in it. That's the thing. They're still only a game or two out. So really they're right there. If they could find a way to string some wins together. There's also some off the field stuff with Dalvin Cook going on. That's a whole mess. I'm not really sure, John. Is there a chance? Is Dalvin Cook playing this weekend still, or is he?
He says he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dalvin Cook's playing. I know a little bit I heard is that, I guess he just said like, yay, the truth will come out. So it doesn't sound like he's incredibly concerned with everything that's going on with all the allegations there. But I don't know. It's a tough game. They're going to LA to take on the Chargers, and the Chargers are no joke. So, they went into this gauntlet. I said after coming out of the bye week, they had 3 really tough games coming out of it. And, they started with the Cowboys without Dak Prescott, couldn't handle it there. And then they went to Baltimore. They hung in that game, but ultimately kind of let that game slip away. So 0-2 so far. So, if they lose this game, the Chargers, I would say they're in deep trouble because they still got 2 games against the Packers this season. So, you're looking at a split probably at best there. So I don't know. I think it's tough sledding for the Vikings, but I'm just this firm thing that they're good enough to compete and hang in there with the best of them probably. But they're just not. They don't have enough to get over the hump. So I don't know. We'll see how it changes, but yeah, that should be at least an exciting game. I mean, there's a potential. I think there's an idea that there might be a shootout there, like they did with the Ravens, the back and forth. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But we're gonna throw it over to John. Yeah, a tough one for you. I'm actually really curious to see, or actually, I guess, hear what you have to say just about the Cowboys and that big turd they left over on that big star against the Broncos this past weekend.
He must have made a bet about his beard, and that's why he shaved it off.
Yep, the Cowboys played so goddamn bad that my beard hair got scared and just went away. Like, nope, bye. No, yeah, just the Cowboys came out flat. They had those, for some reason, they went for it on 4th and 1 twice in the first quarter and didn't get either one of them. And
he's an idiot. Yeah.
It was just like, okay, so there goes any momentum you have. Denver has all the momentum. And then they finally get momentum coming back. They block a punt, but the punt goes across. Even though they blocked it, the punt goes across the line of scrimmage, gets touched by a Cowboy.
I saw that.
And then Denver recovers it, and because Denver recovered it,
that was
it counts as a muffed punt, and it's Denver's ball. And like if that doesn't happen, the Cowboys have the ball, 1st and 10 on like the 17-yard line. Like that, I feel like that play happened, and the Cowboys were like, "It's not our day. Fuck, pack it in, burn the tape. It's move on to next week. We got Atlanta. It's a get right game before they go to KC. Just burn the tape." And I feel the same way. That everyone has a stinker. The Bills lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Rams lost like a game that everyone expected them to win against the Titans with no Derrick Henry. I mean, shit, the Buccaneers last year, lost to Chicago Bears, and they still, came back pretty good. So this is the first real stinker game they've had all season, and now they go to it. Now they have Atlanta, and hopefully they get right. If they don't, if they come out flat like this, Philadelphia is right around the corner. Unfortunately, they think they even though I don't think Philadelphia is a good team, everyone in the media is like on Jalen Hurts nuts, and nothing really much more to say. It was basically just a burn the tapes, quit it, and move on kind of game. There's nothing to take from it. So, yeah.
Speaking of stinker, Baltimore is laying an egg tonight. My God.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right on that one. So,
and to answer your question, John, yeah, I thought it was a catch. He made 2 clear steps with the ball, and then he fumbled it.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't see the replay. I didn't see it live. I didn't see anything. I just see what people on Twitter and Discord are saying.
I mean, it was close, but I thought you can even make a case that he had 3 steps. But...
Okay.
All right. So normally this is where we like to look at, the upcoming week, and we like to look at all the games and say what games looking forward to. But we thought we would do something a little bit different. So we mentioned, there's all the upsets that happened last week. We have a little game. I think we're just going to call it concerned versus not concerned. Sorry, we didn't have a lot to, put into the actual title of it. But basically, we're just going to go through some of the top teams that just, based on record wise, just ended up obviously shit in the bed last week. We're just going to go through and just say whether we're concerned or we are not concerned, based on that performance. So, fellas, let's start things off. We're going to kick things off with the Buffalo Bills after their loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Are we concerned or are we not concerned at all?
I'll start. Is it concerned or not concerned, or is there like a little concern?
There's no rules for this. If you want to be in the middle, you can.
I'd be a little concerned. Their offense is struggling.
You're like lukewarm?
Lukewarm. You got the Patriots breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
I'd be a little concerned. I mean, especially my fantasy team, considering I have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Get your shit together. I need points, and I need them ASAP. But yeah, I would be a little concerned with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I'm trying to quickly look. Do the Patriots have 2? Do the Patriots have 4 losses or 3 losses?
4.
They're 4.
Four.
They're 5 and 4.
So the Bills have 2 games in hand, but they do play the Patriots twice.
Yep.
Theoretically, if the Patriots win both those games and then they split all the other games, the Patriots have the. I'm going to go with concerned just for the better fact that right now, that if you were to ask me who's playing better between Mac Jones and Josh Allen, it's Mac Jones.
Yep.
Who's been the better defensive coach between Belichick and McDermott? It's been Belichick. Like right now, if you were to say they were to play right now, today, I would take the Patriots. So I am concerned.
Yeah, going into this, I think I was thinking, I was all the way not concerned. And, but I'm looking at the schedule. They have some tough games. The Patriots are right there. The Patriots are looking really darn good. They got 2 games against New England still left. They do got to play the Saints on Thursday Night Football. They got the Buccaneers still got to play. So, but overall, I would say I'm still leaning more towards the not concerned side. I still think this is a solid squad on both sides of the football. The defense hasn't looked bad. I mean, they did lose to Jacksonville, but they only got up 9 points. They still kept Jacksonville out of the end zone all game. And I know Jacksonville, they're a work in progress before they become anything really that relevant. I think if the defense was struggling a lot, I would say there'd be concern, but I think this offense is going to figure it out. I truly believe that. I think this is adversity. I think it's going to go down as probably the biggest upset of the entire season that this loss they just had, but every team needs to go through it. I think this is, if anything, will do good for them. And I think they'll get right back on track this week. So I'm not saying I'm way over on one side, but I would still say I'm on the not concerned side of this one. I just think the Bills they're too damn talented right now to be too worried at this point of the season. So, All right, keep things going. Now we're gonna move on to the New Orleans Saints. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons at home this past weekend. Concerned or not, boys?
Got to be a little concerned because your starting quarterback is injured and you're going with Trevor Siemian. Even with Jameis Winston, I was like, you're still in the Bucs division. It's their division to win.
Yep.
Their defense is legit. I like Cameron Jordan, Cal guy. Always liked him. Yeah, I'm a little concerned with them as well. And those divisional matchups with Carolina and Atlanta, they're no slouch games either. They always play each other tough. So yeah, I'm gonna be with I'm gonna lean more to the concern.
Yeah, I'm concerned as well. They're battling for 2 playoff spots with, if you think about it right now, it's Minnesota, it's Atlanta, it's probably going to be Seattle, Philadelphia, and Carolina. Like there's like 6 or 7 teams for 2 spots. Yeah. And if you were asking right now to rank those teams, I wouldn't have New Orleans as among the top 2. I would right now I would have Atlanta ahead of New Orleans right now. They just played last week and Atlanta won. It was a close game, but Atlanta still won. And yeah, they lost Michael Thomas for the whole year. Sure, he didn't play at all this whole season, but that's still a big loss. It's still Michael Thomas. And while Winston is very while Winston's very turnover prone, he's still a way better quarterback than Hill and Siemian. So yeah, I'm concerned. Like I don't, if you were to ask me right now, do the Saints make the playoffs? I said no.
Yeah, fellas, I think I'm same church, same pew. I'm in the row. Hell, I'm on your guys' lap on this one. I'm definitely concerned. Well, maybe, possibly. We'll see how many more I drink, and then we can talk about that. But yeah, I just think exactly what you guys are talking about. I just think that, the Saints team, even with Winston, it was like one week they looked like, okay, all right, maybe we got some action. And the next week they, lay an egg. Specifically, I remember the Giants game. They hosted the Giants at home. They lost that game in overtime. That was one of those games that was like, okay, I don't know what to expect the Saints team anymore. So even with Winston, it was so inconsistent. And now they got to rely on Trevor Siemian as their quarterback. I just, the defense definitely, it ain't a joke. Defense is good. But
also, sorry.
But I was going to say, yeah, I'm on the concerned side. It's the Bucs division. I just don't see them getting to the point. And not to mention, they still got to play the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay this week, and Tom Brady going to looking for that revenge in that game. So nothing good. I would say I'm definitely concerned with the New Orleans Saints.
And then another thing Alvin Kamara's knee injury, I think it's more significant than they're letting on. I think he misses this week. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll keep things going. The next team, it is the Dallas Cowboys. The big loss to the hands of the Von Millerless Denver Broncos. Are we concerned or are we not?
Don, you go ahead.
Kick us off.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. Just you look at the division they're in. While Philadelphia and some of the media heads after this loss are like, oh my God, this is an opening for the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts and blah, blah, blah. It's like, we already saw that matchup earlier in the season and they stomped them. Like, the Cowboys are going to win their division. So they're going to, the floor is the 4th seed. Now, if you said, am I concerned that they're not going to get the 1 seed anymore? I'm a little concerned there, but when it comes to like, will the Cowboys make the playoffs? I'm not concerned. They have, if you think about it, they have 3 tough matchups the rest of the season. Actually, I wouldn't even call the Saints a tough matchup anymore. They got the Chiefs at Arrowhead, and then they got the Arizona Cardinals in week 17? And then, sure, they got the Raiders. God, the Raiders are so inconsistent. It is Thanksgiving. So you look at the schedule, it's soft. It's not like the Bills' schedule. The Bills, they have a couple of tough matchups coming up. Cowboys don't. Like, the Cowboys, theoretically, I think the floor is 12 wins. So, and that's definitely enough to get to the playoffs in the NFC East.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of agree with John. I don't think I'm too concerned with the Cowboys either. It's a shit game. Bad, maybe play calling, decision making, going 4 and 4th. Some bad luck. The run game, they still have Zeke, but I don't know how great he is. But Dak's been throwing the ball around a lot. They got some great receivers. I'm not concerned with the Cowboys at all. I think they're going to win the division and win it pretty easily.
Yep, I'm siding with you guys on this one. I don't have much concern at all with these Cowboys. I still think they're a solid team, and I think we mentioned a little bit when we talked about it earlier. I think every team needs to have that little stinker game, and they think that was this game for them. So, it's kind of the whole thing of like, yeah, we still got to show up. So one thing to look at too is look at the division games. They still got to play 2 games against Washington. Washington, my God, what a disappointment they've been. At least if you're me, Ben, and Jason, this one, we all took Washington to win the division. In fact, Ben's going to lose a Chipotle burrito because of that pick. So they got 2 games against Washington. They still got a game left against the Eagles and the Giants. I think they're both on the road, but I'm not too concerned. The Eagles, they're inconsistent, but I think they're way more on the bad side than they are good. And the Giants, same thing. The Giants are they're not that good either. So I'm not concerned. I just think the Cowboys, like I said, like we just kind of talked about, they needed a stinker. Maybe it'll do them good. So yeah, I'm on the far side of unconcerned when it comes to Dallas. So all right, this is an interesting one. I'm not sure what we're all gonna do this one. Let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals after the mollywop they got from the Cleveland Browns this past week, and they've dropped 2 straight now after losing to the Jets the week before. Are we concerned?
Yeah, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm concerned.
How are you?
I mean, I'm not a Bengals fan, but if I was one, I'd probably be a little concerned. I mean, Joe Burrow's been turning the ball over a little bit to my liking. I mean, that one pick 6 last week, he literally looked down the receiver and the corner saw it coming, and it was pick 6 for about 120 yards. Yeah, the defense is okay, but that division, I mean, even the Steelers, they're going to give them a game. Browns just gave them a game. You still got the Baltimore Ravens. That division's tough, I find. And, you got multiple teams like the Raiders and the Chiefs. They're going to have a tough time maybe making the playoffs. So, yeah, I'd be a little concerned. I'm more than a little concerned. I'm edging towards concern for the Bengals.
Yeah, very concerned. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like I said, how weird the how weird the AFC has been this year. Yep. 2 weeks ago, only 2.
They were number 1.
The Bengals were the 1 seed in the AFC.
Wow.
2 weeks later, they're in the bottom cellar of the AFC North. Yeah, that's how quick things change in the AFC right now, with how close and jam-packed the whole league, the whole conference is. So you have to be concerned. And this is not about the Bengals, but two weeks ago, if you told me that my Steelers pick for the AFC title would 2 weeks later actually look potentially good, especially with how bad the Ravens are doing, hey, who knows? Maybe the Steelers actually still somehow win this division because they're like seems to be the only team that's like they're not good, they're not bad, they're just consistent.
That's a good one to play off of. I'm definitely on the concern side. I just think, I thought going into the season the Bengals were a couple years away, just based on the fact that the competition in that division, it ain't no joke. I picked the Cleveland Browns to win this division out the gate. I don't know. I would still lean that way. I don't want to. This is one division I don't think I want to stray away from the picks. I said a couple weeks in the season the Steelers are going to finish last place in this division. I'm just going to keep rolling with it. The Steelers, I know they're the Steelers, and let's also mention they just barely squeaked out a victory against the Bears. So and it's actually also a very funny thing too is we talked about this segment before, doing this little bit before the Monday night game, and I even made the joke of, well, the Steelers aren't really that good enough to include them on this list if they somehow lose this game. So I don't know, the whole Ben Roethlisberger thing. I don't know. I just think the age is gonna end up kicking back to get him on this one. But I guess focusing back to the Bengals, they got tough matchups too, and they still got a game left against each of the divisional opponents left. They beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Well, guess what? The Steelers are gonna be looking to come into the jungle and handle business and give them right back to them. Same with the Ravens. Went to Baltimore. They put a whooping on the Ravens. The Ravens aren't gonna forget about that. They're gonna look to come into Cincinnati and put the whooping right back on them. And the Cleveland Browns. They got whooped by the Browns, but that game that they got left against them is going to be in Cleveland. So, it's tough. I just think, maybe the Bengals might be a little bit ahead of their time. They might start to see it, but overall, we've seen good things from them. But I would say I'm definitely concerned just because of how, I think even the teams are in that division, I think all together. I would definitely say I'm on the concern side with the Bengals.
Baltimore going to touchdown. It's 15-10 Yep.
All right. Keeping things on. We're going to go now to the Las Vegas Raiders. They dropped one in New Jersey, to the Giants.
It's a Jersey thing.
It's a Jersey thing. So, boys, are we concerned about the Raiders or are we not concerned at all?
I'm concerned. Off-field issues. I kind of told Craig, I think I mentioned on the pod, I was like, they just don't play well in New Jersey. It's a trap. And I still picked the Raiders. I don't know why I did.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah! I don't know why I did. I was like, last time they played the Jets a couple years ago, they shit the bed there too. And it seems like a momentum breaker when you go out to New Jersey to play out there for the Raiders. Big game this weekend with the Chiefs. Chiefs need to know they need to win this one to get back right in the hunt. So, kind of with what Craig has said, you don't know what you're going to get with this Raiders team. Every time you try to bet against them, they show up. Every time you're very confident with them, they shit the bed. So, for not being consistent, I'm going to go with being concerned.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm concerned or not concerned. I'm just like I'm like numb because it feels like this is what they do every year.
I actually like that. That was good.
They could beat the Chiefs this week, and then next week, whoever the hell they play, they could come out and lose. Like, you just never know what you're gonna get with this team. If I have to answer it, I'm gonna answer concerned because if you were
that'd be the Bengals, by the way, just to throw it out there.
Yeah. If you were to tell me right now, hey, gun to your head, how will this division end? I honestly, dude, I would be putting the Raiders at the bottom. That's where I'm at right now. I feel like both the Raiders and Denver are going to finish the same record. Maybe one of them will have 7. It's hard to believe that the Chiefs won't finish above 500 and make the playoffs. And I think the Chargers win this division. So I'm going to go with concerned.
Yeah, I mean, you could take my words with a grain of salt because whatever I say is probably going to be wrong. So I guess if anything, I'll reverse psychology this shit. I'll say I'm concerned for a lot of things you said. The inconsistency. But also look at the schedule.
Wow.
They gotta play.
Are you fucking kidding
They gotta
me?
play the Chiefs twice. They gotta play the Bengals. They gotta play the Cowboys in Dallas on Thanksgiving. They got to play Cleveland still. They got the Colts on there. They still got the Chargers one more time. I mean, what's the only good game that might look good for them? Washington at home? Hey, I don't know. I'm concerned. I just think that the Chargers, I think the Chargers are better than them. I think maybe you could argue that they're on, depending with the whole Chiefs thing, with how they've looked. I mean, maybe they're in the same league, but I don't know. I still would say that the Raiders would probably need to win both games against the Chiefs for me to say, yeah, the Raiders are better than the Chiefs. So I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not going to go out on my limb and say they're going to finish in last. I think they finished in front of the Broncos. I know the Broncos came with the big victory against Dallas, but I don't believe in the whole situation over there. I think the Broncos stink. So, but I will say the Raiders, just based on schedule and their consistency, I am on the concerned side of this one. So, all right, we got 2 more on here. I don't think this will take too long for us to go through it, but let's start off with the Green Bay Packers. They lost in Kansas City, but it was without Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean, maybe because maybe it can be some little bit of stuff in the locker room with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. Does that turmoil at all possibly lean you one direction, or are we just all on the not concerned here?
Not concerned.
The fact that the whole Packers organization knew that he wasn't vaccinated, not concerned.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat here, and also the fact that they just have a monster lead in their division. I mean, the closest team is the Vikings, and they're under 500.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see the Packers losing that lead. I think they have a slam dunk to win this division. It might be the biggest slam dunk for the rest of the way, honestly, to win the division, probably in the entire NFL. Who else would you?
I'm trying to think. I'm like,
maybe Tennessee.
You could say,
maybe Tennessee.
It's Tennessee just for the fact they've already blown out the Colts twice. So the Colts, even if the Colts are theoretically 3-4 games back.
Yeah. So well, at least NFC, they're the biggest slam dunk probably. So
Cowboys.
Therefore, with that being said, or the Cowboys, With that being said, not concerned at all. And again, this will be another quick one. The Los Angeles Rams, they lost to the Tennessee Titans, which the Titans, they lost. I mean, sorry, the Rams lost to a very good Tennessee team.
Well, what do you mean by concerned? Like concerned they're going to win the division, or concerned that they're not going to make the playoffs?
Just concerned in general. Like after their loss, do you have any bit of concern to this team? Because personally, with the moves they've made, I don't know how they wouldn't be my NFC favorites right now.
Yeah, they don't rebuild. They're loaded all over, and they, like you said, they played a good Tennessee team. You want to protect home field as best you can. Like you need loss at home, but they got a pretty damn good quarterback. I would say the running game is but the receivers are legit. They just added a great one. The defense is solid. They're fine.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. Not concerned. Or sorry, John.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about them like making the playoffs. I still don't think they win the division. So I still think it's Arizona's division to
win. Yeah.
So
possibly.
and that would mean so remember, if whoever wins that division, whoever loses that division between the Rams and the Cardinals will get the 5 seed. So they'll be on the road wildcard week against whichever the 4 top teams is the worst one. So between the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Bucks. So between Arizona and the Rams, one of those teams is going to win the division, and the other one's going to face one of those 3 teams. So I'm a little concerned when it comes to whether or not they win the division. But as for making the playoffs and being at bottom at the floor of the 5 seed, I'm not concerned.
Well, I will say this though, John, just because I'm curious. So as of right now, you would say the Arizona Cardinals are the favorite to win the division, right? You'd still take Arizona.
In my opinion, I'm guessing that Bet Online and all the other betting bookies say that it's the Rams.
Yeah. So I guess my question would be, so we all know that Matt Stafford's been in the league a lot longer than Kyler Murray has been, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and don't get me wrong, this is not me coming down Kyler Murray's road. I personally love Kyler Murray. I love watching him play. I think he is one of the top tier quarterbacks of the future, without a doubt. I do remember, and I only reason I know this is because I went and finally watched one of our old shows to go dig what our old preseason predictions was. And I want to say you were saying that Kyler Murray is still really young. He's going to make a lot of mistakes. So do you think there's a good possibility that those mistakes that Kyler Murray makes, when he does come back healthy, could lead, though, like you see it happening where that could lead to Arizona dropping, a game or two they probably shouldn't, and then the Rams could, essentially jump over them.
So the only difference is the run game. Like I know Chase Edmonds is hurt, but the amount of work that James Conner is doing on the backfield, like it's a completely different team than I expected. I expected it just to be D-Hop and Kyler and a whole bunch of trash.
Yeah. Not to mention they went and got Zach Ertz too. Weapon.
There's a lot more safety valves. Like you can dump it off to Ertz, you can dump it off to Connor. Like you don't have to hero ball and run the ball and run around for your life like you did last year. So I'm not as worried as I was in the preseason about him making mistakes. So
I was just curious. I thought I was interesting.
I know.
Kind of look back and just kind of see.
I took the Rams to win that division, didn't I? Or I took Seattle.
You took Seattle in that division, which it's not out of the realm of possibility that could. Well, actually, no, the division. Yeah,
the division it is, but can they sneak in for the 7th seed? That's still a possibility.
Yeah, be hard to rule Russell Wilson out in that team. So, all right, good stuff. Good little segment. That was a little something to test out. I liked it. So
would have been hilarious to have Ben doing this.
True. So, all right. Well, our normal, we usually we transition to the NHL. So that's probably another reason why I run that segment, just because we don't have as much NHL content to give you because our NHL insider, he's not here. But we're all Sharks fans here, and we feel like we owe to at least go over the Sharks just maybe a little tiny bit, maybe just little updates of just exactly how things are going. So the biggest thing is the fact that all these players that have been on the COVID list: Erik Karlsson, Mark-Edward Vlasic, Radim Šimić, Timo Meier. Yeah, Timo Meier, and then the head coach Bob Bugner. They've all been out for the last, essentially week, or actually more than that, almost 2 weeks now. So, the good news is that they're all planning to join the Sharks in Denver tomorrow night. They should be on ice for practice there, and then I would assume that they'll all be back in lineup on Saturday and take on the Avalanche, of course, unless there's anybody they feel that needs, maybe more work to get up to game speed before they get back in there. But we've still seen plenty of the rookies being playing. So I guess they lost Saturday to New Jersey at home in the shootout. They'd come up with a big victory on Tuesday. It's Calgary was red hot.
What the fuck is Miami doing? Sorry.
That'd be a good drop. Just randomly throw it. What the fuck is Miami doing?
Well, I mean, like they said that Tua wasn't going to play because he's hurt. And Brissett was going to play, but yet they bring in Tua to do a QB sneak.
Tua's been in. Brissett's hurt.
I didn't know that. Okay, I just turned it on. I was like, what? Okay.
Brissett hurt, isn't he?
Yeah.
I thought Tua was inactive because he was hurt. I didn't realize he was a backup. Sorry. Move on.
Anyways, yeah. So big victory against Calgary on Tuesday. But they went and faced the Winnipeg Jets again. I mean, it feels like they play the Winnipeg Jets every other game at this point. But it was the final game of the Jets. Didn't go their way tonight. But I guess, fellas, we've seen, a good amount of action with this, the Shark Cudas, as Kevin Kurz had called them, with all the players that are up. How are we feeling right now?
They're holding their own, I guess. I mean, all expected with the Cuda players. Better than expected, I would say. You're getting reinforcements here pretty soon. I would hope they can. I think they got 3 more games on the road. If you can go 2-1 on those 3 games, terrific. Still a long season to go, and hopefully the guys that have been out with COVID have been, they're more fresh. I don't know if they were symptomatic or not, if they were under the weather, but if they weren't, hopefully they have some fresh legs and ready to get some jump.
Yeah, I mean, they lost to the Jets tonight. I know that for sure, but like you said, they lost to the Devils in a shootout. So, like, really, this is they lost. I think they lost 3-1 tonight. And this is like the first real big, like, bad loss they've had ever since they lost all the players. Like, they've kept it close in the games that they've lost, and they've been winning games that people didn't expect them to. Like, look at Calgary; they won that game, and no one was giving them any chance against Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sharks. Anaheim, San Jose, and LA. All three California teams are playing better than expected. And while I don't believe the Sharks have any chance to win the division with Edmonton and Calgary going to be winning, they're going to be the top two teams. You're going to be battling with those three teams for a playoff spot. Like one of those three teams, if not two, will make the playoffs. It's just, will the Sharks be the odd man out? And we'll see. I think the Kings are on a 6-game win streak, I think right now, something like that. And they're looking really good. Kopitar is like turn back time. Dustin Brown's turn back time. It's pretty crazy what they're doing down there in LA. Might want to check the water in LA because I don't know what the hell's going on. And then with Anaheim, Getzloff looks like he has the legs again. It's weird. It's been a weird season. Didn't expect the Sharks to come out with, especially with all the COVID stuff going on, and have them still be above 500, but they are. And yeah, well, like Jason said, it's a long season, but my word always, ever since the season started, optimism, and still optimistic.
Yeah, I would agree. I was finally able to actually go see the Sharks play this past Saturday, and interesting. I was trying to pinpoint it. It took me a minute to actually remember the last time I'd been, and I want to say the last game I'd been to was I want to say a little bit under a month before the pandemic hit. So it's been a solid like year and a half since I'd been. So one thing that was kind of nuts is there was only 12,000 fans, and definitely interesting. I don't know if I've been to a Sharks game when it's been that few amount of fans. So that was definitely an interesting feeling, an interesting look around. But I think one thing that I've noticed, I think with these young kids on the team, they've been battling. I think they, some of these kids are up here and they, I think they all knew that it was only going to be, here for a few games. So these guys get back, but it was like, okay, you know what? I'm at this level. Let's show what I have. And it leads to like, down the road, if someone gets hurt, they can look at these guys like, well, this kid came up here, he hustled, he battled hard. And it could be easier to see him get called up. I know the Merkley kid. I don't know if it's Ryan.
Which one?
I would say the defenseman who was the number one pick, Ryan Merkley. I mean, that's a guy that I think has been talked about in the last couple of years. Is the guy getting called up? The Sharks have been very patient with him, and they finally got to a situation where they kind of got their hand forced where they kind of had to pull him up. So I think he's looked okay. I don't know if he's quite ready yet. But I think it was good for these young kids to get up here and just show what they have. And I think the biggest thing for me that I've noticed, and just hearing a lot and just seeing a lot, reading a lot of, the interviews is, they're just a lot of these guys. Brent Bird's looking at talking about what a fun team they have, and the fact that they go out there in the battle for each other. And I think they're doing everything without saying it.
Yep. That
the locker room is in a good space right now. Which is it's crazy to think, just to kind of think about like, what it was probably like with, when Evander Kane was here. So I think that's good. You don't want that toxicity in the locker room. It tends to leak out. And I think it's maybe becoming more and more apparent. And like I said, I think the Sharks these players are doing everything of saying it without saying it. So, if that's the case, if everything that it's hinting at is true, I'm glad that they are where they're at right now. I think that's one thing that, I guess to tie it over a little bit to the A's, I think that's one thing that we always love about the A's is just how fun it seems like they're always having. When they've had these good teams, you could see it, you could feel it that they look good. So I think hockey is a little bit different just because you're constantly going nonstop. But I think Logan Couture is one guy that tells it to you pretty bluntly. And if he's out there saying that the mood in the locker room is good and they're having fun with it, then I have no reason to not believe him on that. So, but like we say every week, John, you say it all the time, the optimism, that's the key word. Optimistic is there. They're still right there. They're 7-5-1 through 13 games. I think as of this moment, they're not currently in a playoff spot, but they played these games out some of their top guys, especially their defensemen. I mean, they've been playing other than Burns and Ferraro, they have 4 guys that, are basically getting their first shot. with Merkley, Santre Hataka. I just want to say his name one time, but so I got it in there. Remember, I got one Santre Hataka reference on the show tonight. So
I still can't pronounce the other guy.
Nikolai Knizhov, and he's out
I'm not even gonna try it.
He's out for a bit still, so don't have to worry about saying his name.
3/4 of this is inaccurate.
So
more like 1/4
or 1/4. So all right, good stuff. All right, we'll keep this thing rolling on as we now move on to the next segment. Get a drum roll. The Cohooney, not 1, not 2. Nah, it's 5. Cohooney 5. It is back again. Cohooney, let us know how your bets turned out last week, and then tell us all what you got going on this weekend.
Sounds good. Quick side note about bowling. We ran into a guy with the 130 average who shot 600 against us. So
well, that's good.
Kind of didn't matter how we bowled last week. We still somehow won the last game just because I don't even know how we won the last point. But we got 1 out of 4. I shot 200, 198, and 201. I was very consistent. I had one mistake each game, and then it sucked. But I've been bowling pretty good. I think I got all the way up to 190, and then I struggled for 2 weeks. I dropped back to 186. I have to imagine my average is back up to 187 at the minimum. And my goal by the end of the year, which I think we're about halfway through the season, my goal is to be back into the 190s and keep it there. Hopefully we have a better week next week because we were only 2 points out of first place, but now I have to imagine we dropped. To go on to Cohooney 5. Unfortunately, it was a losing week last week. I did go 2-3. Billy Q looked amazing, but against Shane Burgos, but Burgos his leg kicks ate up Billy Q's legs to the point where the whole third round he couldn't step forward, and unfortunately he lost the last round, even though he looked dominant in the first round. Justin Gaethje versus Chandler. I took Chandler in what I thought was going to be an amazing fight, and it was an amazing fight. Unfortunately, it was Gaethje that came out as the champ, that came out as the winner. Dustin Poirier, Dustin Poirier and Oliveira, they're fighting for the lightweight title next month. Whoever wins that, you better hold on to that title as hard as you can because Justin Gaethje is coming for that title, and he's going to beat whoever wins between that title fight. And then Covington Usman, amazing fight. Unfortunately, Usman, he came out and won it, so he retained the title. So yeah, three losses there. I did get Cheeto Vera over Frankie Edgar. Funny part was Edgar was winning that fight, and in the third round, one of the nastiest up kicks, like front kicks, not even a front kick like straight to the face. Literally, the foot went right under the jaw, straight knocked out. And then Thug Rose Namajunas defended her strawweight title against Wei Li in a very close fight to a split decision. It was a fun pay-per-view, and we got one more pay-per-view coming up next month. But unfortunately, we're back to fight nights. This should be a good fight night, though. To start off the main card, we got Julio Arce facing up against Son Yadon. I'm going to go with the underdog in Arce. I think Arce can finish him in the third round. Yadon, he fights more for a decision, and I think while Yadon will win the first 2 rounds, I think Arce has that chance for the finish in the third. So give me Arce for the underdog play. Going on to the next fight, I have Chaos Williams. I'm also going with the underdog against Miguel Baez. Chaos Williams, he will not win a decision. If this fight goes to a decision, Baez wins it. But Chaos does have chaos in his hands. Sorry for the bad joke. But Chaos Williams, he's known for knockout power. I think he gets a third round finish, coming back from behind. Next up, Felicia Spencer against Leah Letson. Felicia Spencer is just way outclasses Leah Letson. It's not even worth taking a chance at the underdog play. Give me Felicia Spencer. Next up, we have a really close fight. It's the co-main event. We got Ben Rothwell versus Marcus Rodrigo. This is difficult.
I almost thought you were
Brazilian
gonna
names.
say. I thought almost thought you were gonna say Ben Roethlisberger for a minute.
Yeah, oh no, Ben Rothwell. That's easy to say, but no, this is Brazilians. Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. So I'm going to go with the favorite in this one in Rothwell. It's gonna be a close fight. It's a coin flip. Probably one of the closest coin flips on the card, besides maybe one other one early in the prelims. But I'm gonna go with the favorite in a decision win. Give me Ben Rothwell. And then finally, I've been looking forward to this guy fighting for months. Unfortunately, this fight got postponed back in August, and now it's finally happening. It's Max Holloway facing off against Jair Rodriguez. Max Holloway, Jair, these guys don't wrestle. They stand and they punch. And in Max Holloway's last fight against Calvin Kattar, he threw 400 plus significant strikes. This guy just boxes, and it's an amazing to whenever you get to see him fight. I'm gonna go with the favorite Max over Yair, but this gonna be fun for all 5 rounds. I don't think that either of them get knocked out. I think it's just gonna be 5 rounds of them just boxing. Like, you don't see boxing fights often in the UFC where it's just literally 5 rounds of them just punching each other, but you're gonna see it in this fight. So to recap, give me Julio Arce, Chaos Williams, Felicia Spencer, Ben Rothwell, and Max Holloway.
All right, another Cohooney 5. It's in the bank, baby.
What's my overall record now? Overall record, I'm at 77, 59, and 9. Not bad.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it could be 66 and 69. Hey,
No, you're right. So, all right, we'll take things over to the softball diamond. Give you a little update what's going on over there. We'll start things off with Friday night. And let's see what happened Friday night. I gotta remember even what happened.
Not much. That was a quick game.
Oh yeah. So we went up against one of the newer teams in the league. Balls to the walls. They're not bad. But the offense for us was kicking early and often. And not to mention defensively, I think we were on point. Kind of a rough ending to the game, unfortunately, for the other squad. I want to say it was 14-1. So you know, with the mercy rule in play and whatever inning it was, had a runner at first base. Dude launches the ball to right field, like basically the warning track. Anton makes like a kind of like a jump, like a diving play. Football player, so he kind of tried to catch a ball like it was a football. But hey, hats off to him. He was sacrificing the buddy on it, no, without a doubt. Hit him in the glove. The ball ended up dropping. The runner who was on first base, who definitely plays ball, she was rounding third base going home, and she touched home plate, and no warning. There was no play at home, but no warning, which by the way, I think that's bad. I love the way Hayward does it. I think, you know, the first time around, that's what Hayward tells you. If it's the first time and there's not a play at the plate, you get the warning. You know, if there's a play at the plate, sorry, no warning. You got to know the rules. But come on, in Fremont, if there's not a play, give him a warning. So essentially,
Fremont's such a more relaxed thing too. Like, you can't slide, and it's like, really, you're not gonna give him a warning. Like, that was a sucky way to end the game.
Yeah, it was sucky. I mean, at the same time, I mean, they get the run. They still need one more to keep the game going. We had 2 outs, so there's no guarantee that we get to, you know, another inning. But just I guess that was an unfortunate ending. So, but the good thing is we got the W. Good bounce back. We're now sitting at 5-2 going into the final week of the regular season tomorrow night. We go up against Who Cares, which is our good friends Haley, Lexi, and Alex. And in a game that doesn't matter. The way it's worked out, we're locked into the 3 seed. Even if we tie the 2 seed, the Chicken Hawks team, they have the tiebreaker because they beat us. If we lose and WTF does win both their games, a double header tomorrow night, they would tie us, but we beat them, which means we have the tiebreaker over them. So like as I was saying, we're locked in.
Relaxed game tomorrow.
We're locked into the 3 seed. We're playing the Chicken Hawks in the first game of the playoffs, and I'm looking forward to that game. It's a revenge game for us. The one game we put against them, we lost 8-6. You know, it was a close game, without a doubt, and I'm expecting that playoff game to be another close one. I think if we hit we'll be fine. And that's all we got to do is got to make sure we hit. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, like how John said, I think tomorrow is a nice relaxed game. We don't got to go too crazy. Don't want anyone getting hurt, anything like that. So yeah, but at the same time, we'll try to end the season strong with a W. Keep the good mojo going into the playoff week. So excited to give updates on that one there. Mondays, not much prevention there. We had a third straight rain out. I don't think we've ever had that in all the seasons we played. I know we've had back-to-back rainouts, but 3 straight weeks, that's a new one. So, and it's crazy because we would have actually finished Monday nights done. We'd have been done with fall league if there were no rainouts. But here we are. We still got two games left. Then playoffs. Our playoffs now scheduled for the Monday after Thanksgiving. So it's gonna be a while there. But so yeah, we'll have more updates to give you there in the further weeks to come. We jumped to the Tuesday nights, and definitely the biggest victory we've had since we've had a spot runs. Not close. I want to say we had already tied the game in the second inning, and the final was 33-11, which if you take away the 10 runs, it's 33-1. And I should mention this was the second place team of the 4 teams in the league. So we got playoffs next Tuesday. I don't know what else to say on that one. We got playoffs, so we'll update you next week on how that one goes.
Live odds like -2,000 to win the championship.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah, -20,000.
20,000.
Whoa, wait, minus
Oh
minus
no,
money. What happened?
plus 20,000. Plus 20,000.
If you're minus, you're a big favorite.
Oh yeah. That's
Who's
all
the
right.
favorite?
Yeah. On
He is.
Tuesdays, we definitely are. Not even
Oh,
close.
I thought
Yeah.
for some reason I thought we were talking about Wednesdays. My bad.
Oh yeah. But anyways, glad you went on Wednesdays. We didn't bring it last night. Wednesdays you're 0-4, but hey, pulled it off, baby. No more goose egg. We got the victory. And speaking of spotting runs, we got spotted 7 runs, so that was nice. But it was a good game. We came out early. We put up some runs in the first inning. I think we were up 12-0, 13-0 after 1. They bounced back. They had a big inning in the second inning, and they got that thing within like probably 3 or 4 runs. So then it was just a neck and neck game for the next 3-4 innings. I don't know if we got through 5 or got through 6 innings last night, but
I think we got through 5.
it was a good game. Offensively back and forth. I think that was one thing that was good for us, is that in the previous games on Wednesdays, we've kind of showed up early with some runs, and then the offense has kind of gone to sleep in a sense. But this game, and we didn't have any big innings after the first, but we string a couple. We got a 2 in 1 inning, got 1 here. The offense never really fully stopped. I don't know if we ever got shut out in any inning. Potentially, I think the worst thing we might have had was when I think we added 1 run in the last inning we hit. And we won by 2. It was 19-17 was the final. So every run mattered. But I was just happy. It's been a little bit of a tough one for Wednesdays, getting bumped up to the upper division. And the crazy thing is we're essentially 1-4 through the 5 games we played. We have playoffs. We go up against Pitchmakers, which is not the favorable matchup. So I think we said that we're plus 3,600 right now, the opening line right now. There's some money coming in on Pitchmakers, but it hasn't moved the line enough yet on there. But it's been a little tough, but we've hung in there for the most part. I mean, the one team that's 5-0, I mean, we were a hit away from beating them the first game. So, we know we can hang with some of these squads. And but it's been a little tough, a little bit of an adjustment. But I'm happy to know that we didn't get goose egged in this one. Getting a victory, I think felt good. You don't want to go through a stretch of a season where you don't win a single game. That's never fun. But overall, like I said, I'm happy that we were able to get off the victory last night. And that's the thing too, is there's been this one theme about these teams are spotting runs. I feel like the effort isn't quite all the way there. I wouldn't argue that team was, at least after the game got close, I think their foot was on the gas. I think they were definitely trying the entire way.
They were definitely trying.
So, that's what worked out good. Is I think a lot of the times it comes down to, can we hit? Can we keep it going? And would I bet for us to keep up offensively with any of those teams that we're playing against on Wednesdays? No, not necessarily. Especially Pitchmakers. That's a team that I would probably, that's a team that it's hard to keep up with offensively. I mean, that team just doesn't stop hitting. So, I just think that was good. As as much as the game got close, it was good for us to pull that game out. So, I guess, fellas, if there's anything you want to add on, Jay, from last night, John, maybe anything from Fridays, maybe you want to add on, or anything like that.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was a little bit weird playing left field after being on Friday after not playing. I've only been playing right field and first base like ever since I started playing softball. But at the end of the day, tracking a ball is still the same no matter where you're at. And tracking that one ball, I don't know how far I really ran, but I remember all I could hear was it's fell. And I'm like, I don't care. I can still get to this. And I ended up catching it. So that was pretty cool to be able to track that one down. And then Wednesdays, it was so weird. It's like if the ball was in the air, I was catching it. But if it was a hit to where it hit the ground, I don't know. That goddamn grass was so slippery that like as soon as it hit my glove, it slipped off. And yes, I know, Craig, you said we're playing softball, not soccer. Because I legit kicked that ball 10 yards away.
I say, to be fair, the only reason why I even said something is because you said a comment to me, so because I normally wouldn't even say that, but it was just like, okay, if you're a dish, I'll dish it right back to you. So
yeah, no,
we're all having a good time. It's all fun.
Oh yeah, and it was hitting wise. It was kind of funny where it's like the ball, the one where you actually rope it, and you're like, oh, I got a good amount of that. The player, the left fielder catches it, and you're like, damn it! But then the one where you just line drive it right over the right over the third baseman or in between those two, it's like maybe I should just do that more often instead of trying to worry about crushing it like Craig did.
Yeah.
Ayo.
Oh yeah, guess I did.
That one would have been that one where you hit the first one, not the second one that went over the head, but the first one you hit over the head. If that was Fremont, that would have been home run because think about it, it's like the field's is only 300, while that one's 310.
Really? Was it really that close?
Dude, you almost hit the fence on the one you hit over the head.
I try not to even really look so much anymore.
No, because you gotta get running.
Yeah, I just try to keep my head down.
Yeah.
Like I did see the second one I hit where the girl, it did hit her glove. But that was just because I was already making my turn and I was looking up at the play. But other than that, I tried.
That was the third. That was the third one.
Oh yeah, the third one.
The second one went completely over her head and hit the fence.
I wasn't counting like my first at bat, like just the base hit I had. I was just counting like the two big flies that I had.
Yeah.
The two hard hit ones.
Yeah, that first one went over her head and hit the fence.
Oh, okay. Didn't you know that much, but all right, I'll take it.
My dude's got power.
All right, that could be potential drop, possibly, maybe. I don't know. So, all right, we'll keep transitioning things off. Another segment. It's back again.
Get off my lawn!
Indeed, it is Get Off My Lawn time with Jay Rist. Jason, you're agitated again, but like always, this is the place for you to just let it all out, my friends. So
we're in a safe spot,
floor,
friends.
The floor is
don't
yours.
worry. And don't worry. The YouTube is about to get rid of the dislike buttons. Don't worry. Safe spot.
Okay. I will say I don't know if we've gotten a single dislike in any of our videos.
Oh, we even got a like.
Don't hold this against me. No, we got likes. We get likes.
This is my go on a tangent, but I'm gonna start on a subject, and let's just see where it goes.
We got all night.
This should be fun.
Yeah, we got all night. My problem is with the NFL and the whole handling of the Aaron Rodgers situation. He comes out, says he's not vaccinated. He said he was immunized, whatever it was. You lied. He didn't lie, but he didn't say he was vaccinated.
He misled.
Good call. He misled. You fucking misled. You go to a Halloween party maskless. You are doing media maskless. And I get it. I don't like to wear a mask either, but I'm doing it for the benefit of people around me. You're not any better than anybody else. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You need to fucking do it. I'm sorry. You got to do it. The NFL damn took a draft pick from the Raiders of last year for violating COVID protocols. What did they do for the Packers? Oh, they fined him a little bit. They gave Aaron Rodgers like a little $15,000 fine, some bullshit. And it was like nothing under the sun. Evander Kane falsified his Vax card and he got suspended 21 games. No suspension for Aaron Rodgers. Again, it's just they don't want to ruffle the feathers of either the owners or the star players in the league. And they have a big committee that kind of dictates it. A tangent off of all this is there needs to be independent investigations of all of the leagues in general when it comes to officiating and suspensions because they're all fucking all over the place. They're so NHL, perfect example.
Yep.
One guy gets in the head, he gets a 2-game suspension. Another guy gets in the head and it's nothing. It's so it needs to be cut and dry. You hit somebody in the head, you get suspended. Plain and simple. But it's so NFL is different with suspensions. MLB is different with suspensions. There just needs to be an extra entity outside of the league, outside of the owners, that takes care of that. Am I naive to think that they can't be part of the take and like, hey, here's a little money to do whatever? Of course not. It's the way it goes around here. And getting back to the Packers, they're a big name franchise. If this was the Jacksonville Jaguars and maybe Trevor Lawrence, would he get suspended? Possibly. But he's not Aaron Rodgers level. It's just the shit show all around. I understand we don't like the mask, or he doesn't like the mask or whatever, but you're getting paid a lot of money to do it. You need to stick to the protocols. You shouldn't be doing parties with vaccinated teammates. It's a complete shit show, and they have protocols in there for a reason. If you break protocol, you need to be punished more than like a slap on the wrist, which is the $5 fine to NFL owners.
You also remember the Packers don't have ownership too. That's the craziest part. It's like, who's actually paying this fine?
They got a CEO. They got money. They are not broke.
No, I know, but it's a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
So like it's actually like fans and like people who bought stock. They're actually the ones paying for this fine. It's like that's a little weird to think about.
And there's a hierarchy as far as owners in the NFL. I mean, there's Jerry Jones, Ron Kroenke, Stan Kroenke, 50 feet of crap, and then there's like Mark Davis.
The Rams.
That's why Mark Davis gets the brunt of everything. And
well, yeah, because Mark Davis is the only non-billionaire owner.
Yeah, he has no cash. I mean, come on, let's go. He owns the Raiders, but let's call it what it is. The NFL owners want Mark Davis out. They're just trying.
Why is it always phrased when it's like the worst possible time?
Yeah,
like, he's webbing his pits right now.
I know. There's no doubt that they want Mark Davis out of the NFL. They're trying to push and prod until he does
run that guy.
Decide to sell. If I don't think he will.
No,
but
that's not fair. Like let the guy. It was his dad's one of like the biggest pioneers of the NFL. Like the merger. Like don't kick the kid. Don't kick the son out. Like that's.
So to wrap up, protocols all around. You got to follow them, and I think there needs to be an outside entity for suspensions and fines that are not the commissioner of like Roger Goodell, who makes $160 million over 2 years, which is fucking ridiculous. He's making more than players. There needs to be something that's changed there, but that's what I got.
So the UFC, they pay for this independent testing called USADA. And they test for steroids and everything, and the UFC has no affiliation with USADA. If USADA picks and chooses who they want to test, and if they get, and the USADA decides like the suspensions like that you get if you get caught, like TJ Dillashaw got caught using steroids. USADA suspended him for 2 years. Like UFC didn't suspend him, nothing. It was USADA that did it. So yeah, like I like the idea of an independent like a moderator doing all this for all the leagues, but that'll never happen, unfortunately.
No.
And then
because
as for
it's everything.
the whole Aaron Rodgers situation, it's political, unfortunately. Like that's how America is. It's become political. You know, a year ago today, vaccines were seen as bad because one person was in the office, and now a year later, the other person's in the office, and now vaccines are good. That's just it became politicized, and I wish it didn't, because that's just how it is. But as for like what Roger said, some of it is true, but most of it, like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I like the part where he's talking about how the NFL is like basically like what was the word? I can't remember what he used, but like they I can't remember the word he used, but like every single person who hasn't gotten vaxxed, you know, like whether it's Cousins, Beasley, or that, like whoever it is, all the media and all the big talking heads are like bashing them, and they're acting like villainized. They're villainizing them, and I agree with that. I don't think that you should be villainized for choosing not to. But the only difference is those guys are following the protocols, whether you like it or not. It's the law, right? They're following it, while Rodgers wasn't. So, like, while I agree that these players who don't get vaccinated shouldn't be getting villainized by the mainstream media, and being like, the mainstream media is kind of like trying to scare them into getting it. Like, that's kind of how that's how what Rodgers is saying. While I agree, like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't, like, if they don't want to get it, they don't need to get it. But they're following the protocols. Rodgers wasn't. So while I think he should have got a game or two for misleading the mainstream media and misleading the public, I don't think that you can get I don't think the Packers deserve to get a draft pick taken away just for the fact that last year the Raiders they what's it called, originally the NFL tried to, and then they fought against it, and the NFL decided not to take it away. If you're not going to take it away from the Raiders and I think the Saints last year, you can't take it away from the Packers, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd say the one thing I would add, and I don't know if Jason might have mentioned it because it feels like a bit ago when he first brought it up, but the whole fine thing too just seems so weird. Like, and I know you said it too, but I saw a thing about. Did you say anything about CD Lamb? About
the whole finding situation has been so annoying.
Did you see that, Jay?
No, I didn't see what happened.
So Aaron Rodgers got fined X amount of money because of this whole thing. CD Lamb got fined more because of not properly tucking his jersey in.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that's what.
CD Lamb got a bigger fine for wardrobe, not following wardrobe proceedings compared to Aaron Rodgers for this. So
I would just So, and I think, and they even asked CD Lamb about it, and he basically, I guess they asked him about it, and he's just like, "Am I pissed off? No. Am I confused? Definitely."
That's the problem. Everybody's confused with any suspension, any fine. They're like, "What the fuck?" Like, I can't do this and get a suspension, but I can do this, or some other dude can do this, and it's not a suspension. So
the suspensions in sports has never been consistent, though. That's why people talk about it's the wheel of punishment. Like, it's literally just the NFL heads or any main sports. It's like, oh, this guy did this, well, let's spin the wheel. Oh, I landed on $15,000 fine. That's what you get. Oh, you did the exact same thing. Oh, you just got 7 games. All right, here we go. It's like there's no consistency, and that's why you look at like the UFC and they have the independent USADA thing. Like, there's consistency. And then the MLB, they have their consistency with the PEDs too, like the steroids. Like, your first one, no matter who you are, your first one is this amount of games. Second one is this amount of games. Like, they have consistency when it comes to like that, but then it comes to like injuring someone else. Like we talked about in the NBA. Markieff Morris shoulder tackled Joker to the ribs, got fined. But Joker retaliates and shoulder checks him in the back of the neck. He gets suspended a game. It's like there's no consistency.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's what I got, boys.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff.
Stay tuned for like the next week or two because there'll be a.
There's another potential idea that was on there on the table for
be a Bay Area ownership group. Just I'm gonna let them have it.
But we'll wait and just see if they give us some more ammunition. That's all we're waiting for.
Sell the team.
All right, let's shift things off over to one of our good, fun weekly segments we have on the show all the time, and that is the Hit It or Quit It segment. If you've never been a part of this one, it's real simple. We go around, ask a question. It's just more of like are you on this side or are you on this side? But we like to say, are you hitting it or are you quitting it? So, fellas, what do we have this week? Jay, I know you got a few, so why don't you start it off?
I'll start off. I got it. Breaking news today. Cam Newton's back with the Panthers.
Ooh.
I kind of think he's meh, like whatever. We all know what he's about. My question to you guys is does Cam Newton lead the Carolina Panthers and backdoor their way into a playoff spot?
Ooh. I'll start with this one. I'm gonna go with quitting it on this one. I just think Carolina. Let's face it. What are they battling for? The 6 or the 7 seed? Because there's no way. Because whoever doesn't win that division,
between Arizona and LA,
between Arizona is getting the 5 seed. I don't know. Man. I can just think of teams I know that are better than them.
Sure.
I've said earlier in the show, I don't think the Vikings are that good. I think the Vikings are better than Carolina. What's another team that's definitely better than them? The Saints, with the Simeon as a quarterback, I think we're on the fence about this one. I'd even almost argue the Atlanta Falcons might be better than the Carolina Panthers. Could be wrong on it. I don't know. It's still Sam Darnold effect. I've said it. I don't think Sam Darnold's very good.
Trash.
So I know it's not like Sam Darnold's on the field to play with Cam Newton on there, but I just think they're not one of the better teams in the NFC. I'm sorry. I'm not convinced enough what they got. I know Christian McCaffrey is a hell of a running back, but the dude struggles staying healthy. I know he's finally back. He finally played in his first game, but let's also not forget their first game, this weekend. Oh, it's at Arizona. So they're big dogs, like 10.5, depending where you're looking at your lines. So do I think they might cover? I think it's a possibility, especially because it's Colt McCoy, possibly leading that. But do I say I'm winning that game? Not really. So I'm quitting it. I don't think they're backdooring themselves. There's just too many other teams that are better than them, in my opinion.
I'm looking at the playoffs right now, and they're half a game out of Atlanta. Atlanta's 4-4, they're 4-5. Basically, they haven't had their bye week yet. I still say they have a decent defense, and I blame a lot of this on just the fact that McCaffrey's been hurt, and Sam Darnold has turned into a turnover machine. He's turned into like a Nathan Peterman turnover machine. Now you're bringing Cam, who something that Cam does. Like Cam doesn't turn the ball over that often. Like, and if you look what he did with New England last year, like, you know what? I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm going to hit it. I think they get the 7 seed. I'm looking at it right now. Either LA or Arizona is going to get that 5, and then with New Orleans injuries, I think they fall off, and I think they will miss. So then it comes down to Carolina, Minnesota, and Seattle, in my opinion, for those last 2 spots. You could argue Atlanta. I think Carolina between one, I can get one of those 2. So yeah, with Cam Newton, let me get a hit. I think they get the 7 seed.
I'm gonna go against you, John. I'm gonna quit it.
It's close.
like Craig said, I think there's too many teams. I would probably throw if Russell Wilson comes back, 85%.
I did forget about that too. I did forget
I
about
I
that.
did say Seattle. I said I think there's 2 spots between Seattle, Carolina, and Minnesota. I think New Orleans and Atlanta are gonna fall off.
Yeah, I think Seattle's gonna get there. And I just think there's better teams across. I don't think Cam's that great of a. I think his best days are behind him, obviously.
Oh yeah, same here.
But you never know. This is a question out there. I'm gonna quit it though. I think Seattle will make it. Like Craig said, I kind of like Atlanta a little bit too. They're kind of sneaky, but they're inconsistent.
Hey,
Yeah.
got Swiss Army knife over there, Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, he's
Best player on their team is their kicker.
Yeah, and Younghoe Koo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like Younghoe Koo. He's cool. Get it? Younghoe Koo. He's cool.
Okay.
Well, this sucks.
What?
After that, you could do your question. That.
I don't even have one, to be honest with you.
All right, fine.
When you go, I'm gonna try to come up with something. I gotta go with something.
Well, so
Is
this
Younghoe
kinda
is Younghoe Koo hit it or quit?
Okay.
what the hell is Kubid? Are we
Go
gonna
ahead.
get blocked for saying that? So unfortunately, my question was Cam Newton related as well, but it wasn't Carolina Panthers related. Instead, it was the 2 signings of today related between OBJ to the Rams and Cam Newton to the Panthers. My hit it or quit it is Cam Newton will be a bigger factor for his team in the remaining part of the season than OBJ.
Moses Moody Moses.
What?
I think you can go, Jay. I want to hear what you said, Jay.
I'm gonna hit it. I think Cam Newton plays quarterback.
Damn it.
OBJ, there's already weapons, and he's gonna be a factor. But there's Cooper Kupp there. You got more weapons. You got Robert Woods. They're running games, but yeah, Cam Newton plays quarterback, dude.
Yeah. I'm right there with Jay. I'm in his drawers for this one. I'm right there. Cam Newton, just like you said, Cam Newton's a quarterback. And obviously major upgrade. I know exactly what you said, Jay. Cam Newton's he's out of his prime. He's not like going to be, like when he was like, a rookie in the league or anything like that, or even his first few years. But yeah, exactly. And then also what you said too about just the whole fact, and okay, my bad. I was just saying is I totally forgot what I was doing. He's an upgrade from Sam Darnold, no doubt. But then, yeah, and then like I said too about the Rams, OBJ is weapon, but there's other weapons there. They have so many other options there. So I just think, yeah, when you're talking about who's more of effect, it's got to be the quarterback position. So yeah, it's Cam Newton. So was it hitting it right? Because it was Cam Newton over. So yeah, hitting it all the way.
Yeah,
Oh baby.
I'm gonna hit it as well. But could you imagine though if the best XFL quarterback of all time goes into Arizona this week and wins? I don't know how you don't let him start next week. I think everyone expects Cam Newton to be starter after next week, but I know PJ Walker is going to start this week, and yes, PJ Walker is the greatest XFL quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
Could you imagine though, like, can Carroll if he does go in and he gets the ball to Anderson and he gets the ball to Moore and they somehow upset Arizona, like I don't think you can just turn it straight over to Cam. So there is that off chance that like maybe Walker shows some promise that he's shown in the preseason. But OBJ, like that dude's out there rain chasing. He doesn't give a shit about his targets or any of that stuff. He's just out there rain chasing. If he really cared, he would have went to New Orleans or Green Bay. If he cared about getting targets, he's not going to get targets, or at least the amount of targets he wants. When you got Cooper Kupp, who gets 10 plus targets a game, you got Robert Woods, who gets 5 plus a game. And then also don't forget they got the goddamn tight end, and then you also got to feed Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel. It's like too many mouths to feed. I don't see how OBJ like becomes this. I didn't understand the move by him, other than he's rain chasing like people following LeBron.
My counter to you, Cahoon, on that Cam not starting next week is: did you guys see how much they paid him?
They gave him a little money, right?
They gave him like $10 million. So
Yeah.
you're not letting 10 million sit on the
Okay.
like.
So what is that? Do they expect? Was it a 1-year contract?
Yeah,
one year.
it's well half season contract technically. If you,
It's prorated, but it's a good chunk of change. I'm like,
yeah,
okay. So,
yeah.
uh,
Jay, go ahead with the next one. I don't think I'm gonna have one tonight.
okay, no worries. Quick baseball question here. Winter meetings are coming up. A lot of hot stove action, a lot of trade action. One of these Bay Area teams says that they're in the market for some big trades. My question to you guys is will the A's trade all 3 pitchers of Montas, Manaea, and Bassett this offseason? Hit it or quit it?
Did not think you were gonna go that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna
All 3.
say it was Bassett, Manaea, and Montas. God, I'd be like hanging like a Hail Mary prayer to say quit it on this one. I think I have to say hit it, especially because I mean look at the years that Bassett and Montas just had. It's a lot of this has to do with peak value. That's another reason why we talked about Matt Olson. I mean, is there any more valuable time to trade Matt Olson than probably right now?
Oh, he's gone, dude, for sure. Gone.
Yeah. Quickly,
Mhm.
before just so everyone knows, I'm not in favor of trading Matt Olson. I don't like that they're going to rebuild, but it's happening. So if you're an A's fan, be ready for it because it's coming. Winter is coming. But I think those are 2 guys that like they're at their value. We've seen Chris Bassett. He basically grew into essentially like almost their ace. If you want to be the term, yeah, he was their ace. And Frankie Montas, he's a damn good too. Like he had a couple of those really bad starts that really like kind of fluffed up his numbers. But it really took away the starts. I mean, he was one of the better pitchers probably in the American League. I don't want to go out in baseball necessarily because I just it's been a little far off for baseball for me. So like I don't have the numbers in my head. But those numbers were good. So if anything, I think those 2 guys are probably out their way. The thing is, but Manaea, he's a southpaw. I mean, that's another reason why he's gonna also draw attraction too. He's a solid left-handed pitcher. So, yeah, at this point, it's like, I mean, it's either you're hitting or quitting it. Of they're gonna trade 2 or all 3, and knowing the A's, they're gonna trade all 3. So that being said, I am going to hit it.
So you said Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas, and Chris Bassett, correct?
Yep.
See.
Okay, give me a quick sec. Manaea's gone. I'm looking up Bassett right now. I already know where I'm going with this, but I'm just looking up. Bassett's gone, but I'm going to quit it because I don't think Montas is gone. He has 1 more. He has 2 more years, plus he has this contract this year, then his arbitration next season, then he's a UFA. So they'll use him 1 more year, and they'll use him as a trade bait, possibly either this year during the trade deadline or at the winter meetings of next year. But Montas will be gone this year, but Manaea and Bassett will be gone.
Okay, I'm gonna hit it, and I'm gonna counter what you just said. He does have an option for 5.2 million. Montas does. That's freaking cheap for what he's worth, in my opinion, as far as how he quality. So if you could pick up somebody for 5.2 million, the A's could say, "Hey, we want 2 of your top picks, draft or prospects." Bassett's due to make 8.8, and Manaea is projected to make 10.2 in a projected where the A's is projected to have a $40 million payroll apparently.
Big yikes.
Big yikes. I mean, that's all subject to change based on the new CBA that's coming out. Potentially.
At the end of the day, what the hell does the CBA have to do with the A's?
Well, they may have a rule in there where you have to have a minimum floor.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Million.
I'm gonna say at the end of the day, there's no salary cap, so it's like the A's can pay as much as they want.
They may have a spending floor, but I think I'm gonna hit it. I think all 3 are gone. I think Matt Olson's gone. I think Chapman's gone. It's gonna be a rough offseason, like Craig said.
You want to know the one guy I think is going to be on the A's next year for sure? Like probably like I would be willing to probably like lock it in that he'll be with the A's.
Locked in.
Was it?
Let me guess.
Go for it.
Okay,
Sean
wait.
Murphy.
Give me a clue. Is he under contract for next year?
Yes.
He is.
John says
Is he a
Sean Murphy.
pitcher?
John said John Murphy or Sean Murphy. Who do you say?
I was gonna say Sean Murphy as well.
Well, congratulations, boys, because you both just won. Sean Murphy, I think, will be for the A's next year.
Yeah.
He's the only one. He's probably the only guy I think is gonna for sure be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Everyone else, I don't know. I really don't know.
a lot of questions in the air with the CBA, and you know,
Another person.
I think I say the next best person. I think it's probably Ramon Laureano.
I was about to say that too because he's suspended for the first how many games of the year. So
Yeah.
he's more of a trade deadline piece to trade.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. I can't think of anything. I got nothing tonight, boys. So for here to put it,
I could do one more really quick if you guys want to. It's really
go for it.
Yeah,
Why
that's
not?
fun.
Go for it.
Get us 4. We usually always do 4. So.
Yeah. That way, let's look at our 4.
Yeah, Justin Verlander just did a showcase a couple days ago. Rumored team is the Giants might be interested in him. He hit it or quit. Giants signed Justin Verlander.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually read on MLB.com. I guess some of the writers they predicted that the Giants were going to sign not only Justin Verlander but
Scherzer,
also Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And I don't mean that in like that's bizarre, because no, I could see the Giants at least attempting to sign those guys for sure. They have the money to do it. But
I mean, every single team has the money to do it if they just.
Is that a shot at the A's, John? Was that a shot at the A's? I think it was a shot at the A's there.
I think this is one of those questions where you're telling me it's one team or the field.
You're thinking of
So with that being said, yeah, I'm gonna roll with the field on this one. I think there's other options. I mean, is there any true guarantee that he's moving Houston? Do we know that for sure? Is he gonna, I think Houston's still on the table. I think there's other options. It's funny. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I did see something recently that. What do you think the chances that he'll go back to Detroit?
with Correa, maybe.
But if Correa goes, you got AJ Hinch over there.
Yeah.
The Tigers, they weren't god awful last year. They're on, they're trying to trend this way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, it's the Giants or the field. And not to mention, I could still see the Giants maybe re-signing the guys that I think Cueto's gone. Now they're going to Cueto. I think they'll probably fringy, but I think they would probably make an attempt to sign DeSclafani back. And Gosman. I think those are two guys. Well, Gosman, he could be fringy too, because that back half of that season, he kind of crept down again. And he wasn't even a starter for them in the playoffs. He was coming out of the bullpen. So I could see them.
Could you imagine?
Man, I don't know.
A starting rotation with Scherzer, Verlander, Webb, and DeSclafani like that. That's interesting.
That'd be tough. But to not strand away too far from your question, in this situation, I just don't think there's enough. What's the word I'm thinking of? Enough traction right now that I'm hearing with the Giants of Verlander enough to start looking that way. So therefore, I'm taking the field. I'm quitting it.
Okay. This means traction.
Whatever.
In Italian, this means.
Just answer the man's question already. Yeah.
Well, last time I was given a hit or quit it on a specific team or the field. I took the team when it was Bruce Bochy hit or quit it go to the Padres. Well, that did not turn out good, and I probably should have taken the field. So I'm going to take the field here.
Look how bad that turned out.
Quit it. Too. Yep, quit it. I'm taking the field.
Same thing you guys just said. Yeah, I'm gonna quit and take the field. I mean, I'd probably put it like at a.
It could be the best odds, but at the end of the day, like it's
even when it comes out, like any free agent or any trade, hey, this is the best odds. It never seems to go to the place where it has the best odds of him going. It's always some other team. So yeah, I'm taking the field. Quit it.
Yeah, look at fucking OBJ. 3 days ago, it was like. Yeah.
Cool. Right on. Good stuff, guys. All right. We're wrapping things up on another episode over here, but the always I like to close things off is our shout outs. And there's really no limits on this one. We shout out people we know, whether it's birthdays, anniversaries, could be restaurants we know, anything like that. So fellas, anything you want to add before we say goodnight? Any shout outs you got?
You guys can go first.
I think we should all, like, as a team, we should shout out that today is Veterans Day. So
Absolutely, yes.
shout out to all the veterans and people out there serving the country.
Mhm.
It's unfortunate that only on Memorial Day and Veterans Day do you guys get the shout out. I feel like you guys should get shouted out more often than just those 2 days. But it is Veterans Day. Shout out to all the troops.
Yeah, shout out for sure.
Mhm.
Definitely keeping what's the line that they always say?
Keeping the
Home of the
country
free,
safe.
home of the
Yeah.
free because of the brave. So yes, absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? Did you guys want to go?
Even though the Seltzer Nog is actually really good.
Wow, you actually do like that one.
Yeah.
All right. Impressive.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not good. Stay away from that pack, Jay. You don't want none of that.
Yeah. The rest of them are ass stuff, but the Seltzer Nog is actually really good.
Yeah. Shout out to Aegis Styles because they don't want none. They don't want none of that. So
I'll shout out my daughter Rachel with the play she's got going on. She's done fantastic and wrapping it up this weekend. And then she got some spring musical coming up in the springtime. It's not School of Rock, Schoolhouse Rocks, like TV show. So that'll be cool. And shout out my son Nathan as well. We're going to his first Warriors game. Already asking about when we're going back. So he's psyched. And,
do more chores, Nathan.
Yeah, it was a good time, and we'll try to look for it again. Maybe a Sharks game here in the future, though. And shout out the Rams for just going for it. They're like death row records right now. They are just give me everybody and anybody, and we're just gonna go balls to the wall. Let's go. So shout out to them.
yeah.
That's what happens when you got a brand new stadium.
Yep.
You can write whatever checks you need to write.
So I had one shout out I wanted to do. If you're an NHL fan, like us, you guys are all aware of who Carey Price is. Carey Price, the netminder for the Montreal Canadiens. Been one of the top tier goalies in the NHL over the last few years. He hasn't been with the team this year. Yeah, really over the last decade. Well known, and I'm sure he's extremely well liked by Canadian fans for sure. He actually, he has been with the team this season, and it was just actually a couple of days ago he kind of came out and finally posted, kind of opened up and said that he's been dealing with substance abuse issues. He has, in kind of his own words, he said I let myself get to a very dark place, and I didn't have the tools to cope with that struggle. And he finally decided to enter a facility. And he just finally realized that he needed to do it for himself and his family to finally, to take care of that. So it's tough for sure. I wish him all the best for sure. It's good that I'm happy for him to finally, address it and finally realize, he was going down a road that he didn't like. And he's finally, making that decision for himself. And that's a big thing. And, he also talks a bit about just the mental health. And I've talked about that before, about how mental health is extremely important. And you absolutely have to take care of your mental health. And I think it's good on him to do that. And also to, I know a lot of guys like to, they do it, they don't really necessarily keep it all the way private, but I do like the way that, he at least put himself out there and kind of put him in that vulnerable place to, come out and admit that and say like, hey, I've been dealing with this, and I'm done letting that, kind of take over his life in a sense. So kudos to him. I wish him the best of luck and everything with his journey. And another thing too, I mentioned is that he has no idea how long he's gonna be away from the game. But I just hope that he takes all the time that he needs, because that is the most important thing. Hockey takes NHL hockey, that takes a back seat. But I do hope that we do eventually, down the road, when Carey has dealt with that, we will eventually see him back on the ice again. So that'll be nice to see, down the road. So
Definitely.
Yep. Anything else we got, fellas? Anything like that?
All
right.
No.
And that does it. good show. I know a little bit of a void, but I think we did okay carrying the job. So, but Benny,
not much chaos, unfortunately.
no, that's one thing that we do kind of lose a little bit of without Benny on the show. But still fun times, still good stuff.
Look at my face.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. Anyways, that does it here for us. Another episode here of Sports Bets, but mostly chaos. We appreciate whatever time you really invest into us, whether it's, you accidentally clicked us by mistake and you only heard us say a couple words, or you actually, devoted some time into, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I did forget. I had one other shout out. I almost forgot. One of my teammates on Tuesday nights, Jen, she is another new subscriber essentially to our channel. She talked to me this week about it, and and the one thing I also kind of told her, I said, hey, I always tell people, look at the timestamps of videos, and she said she doesn't really like to, she likes to hear the entire thing. She doesn't like to, skim through and just hear certain parts of it. So whether or not she'll commit, to the full episodes, I'm not holding that against her or anything like that. But we have a new fan, and she's supportive of that. So shout out to Jen for giving us a listen, here and there. I know the one video she did watch our she did tell me she went and watched our picks from last weekend's game. I said, oh God, way to pick the shit show we had of all those game picks. So but yeah, so shout out to Jen for checking us out. Really appreciate it. And all of you can do the same thing if you just give us a follow over at our YouTube channel. It's at Sports Bets, but mostly Chaos Podcast. Twitter, Instagram, it's at SBBMC_POD. And if you follow any one of us, you'll be able to find it probably anywhere on our pages as well. It's pretty much right there for the clicking, the liking, the commenting, all that good stuff. But once again, yeah, we do appreciate all of you for tuning in as always. Yes, and again, happy Veterans Day. Again, we appreciate to all the veterans for everything you do, to make us living our lives possible every day. So with that being said, that's a wrap. Good night, everybody. We will see everyone again very soon.